whatever big data, how it can be utilized, or what will be the next age related to NBFC regarding all these latest technologies. That is what we are going to discuss here now. And we have great people here. I hope you all people are very much aware about these names. Here I am having Mr. Vijaykumar Ramakrishna. He is the CTO of Clix Capital. And welcome, Mr. Vijaykumar Ramakrishna. And I'm having Vidya Sambasivam. She is representing the Dvara KGFS, and she is the CTO of Dvara KGFS. Welcome, madam. And we have Mr. Gaurav Mehrotra, and he is representing the Northern Arch Capital, and he is CTO of Northern Arch Capital. And welcome, sir. Okay. Yeah, I hope we can start with a small introduction, all of you, please. We can start with Gaurav Mehrotra.
Hello. Am I audible? Yeah. Hi, I'm Gaurav Mehrotra. I'm CTO at Northern Arc Capital. So I joined the company about 9 months back. Right now, as a company, we are on a journey to really enhance our digital platforms to be able to better engage with our customers, to be able to do a better risk underwriting, and to be able to service those loans through the life cycle of the loan. Now, earlier, as in just a little bit of history about the company, we used to be mostly commercial lenders. And like about 7 to 8 years back, we started getting into retail lending in a big way. And the two ways we really lend to retail customers right now is one through direct lending, and the other is through partner channels. And that's where a lot of technology comes into play. Apart from really being a high quality NBFC, we also are building technology which could be useful for other participants in the market. So just to give you an example, we recently launched something called New Score, which is basically a credit score for microfinance end borrowers, right? And there are some entities which are already using New Score. So those are the kinds of technology products that we are contributing into the or bringing to the ecosystem, which could be stitched together in individual journeys by various participants in the microfinance space, and hopefully create a better lending ecosystem altogether. So thanks for having me here.
Hi everyone. I'm Vidya Sambasivam. I'm the CIO from Dvara KGFS. KGFS is nothing but Kshetriya Gramin Financial Services, right? So we provide lending services to our customers who are in remote rural areas. Not just lending services, we provide wealth management services to our customers, and that's, I think, is a differentiating factor, is the way we look at it. We offer suggestions to our customers in terms of how they can improve their livelihood, not just take loans from us, right? So that's the way we operate. We have begun our digital journey, and some of the newer areas that we're working on are an omni-channel, presence. We've also been able to give the last mile support to our customers. We have mobile apps, which we are trying to make it AI driven to ensure that, our field force who are there on the street are able to help our customers. Okay, so thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Vijay. Full name is Vijaykumar Ramakrishna. This is my second stint. I attended in Chennai last year, and this is the second one. So I've got overall 28 years of experience, 18 years in banking, 10 years in IT. I was with Bandhan Bank as CIO, Yes Bank CTO, and Deutsche Bank CEO, Tech and CAO and CTO. So it's pleasure. Now the change with the banking to NBFC is that NBFCs are more cost conscious and more aggressive in terms of digital. Am I right? We need to outperform because our cost of lending is more than a bank, and our cost of borrowing also is more than a bank. So we need to be more digital, more customer focused, So that's the interesting part which I am facing in NBFC for last 18 months. Erstwhile G Capital, Clix Capital started in 2016, 6 years back, and in COVID we went down. And but last year we made losses 98, but last year we ended up making profit of approx 50 CR. So it was because of the business and operations changing and enablement which technology, digital and analytics we did. So that's an interesting journey and I'm very excited to be part of this forum, because next big thing which our chairman and the board, everyone feels that will be in the chat GPT and AI front. Am I right? So we are partnering with Microsoft and one more big player to get AI adopted and enabled in our journey, so that we can become more customer centric and ease and bring the cost of fund low and make their payment easier at your place, at your pace. So excited to be part of this forum and with all allied panelists. Thank you. Back to you, Linson.
Thank you very much. We are starting with Gaurav Mehrotra. The question is here. No, it is related to AI, ML, and all these latest technologies, IoT or big data or RPA, robotic process automation. So how it will help us on going ahead with the transformation about NBFC, on implementing all these new technologies, and also how it will be helping and what are the impact areas?
Sure. So it's actually, if you look at NBFC or any other tech-driven businesses right now, AI, ML, and all these IoT, RPA, everything is really the top of the agenda right now. Now, if we just go to the first principles thinking, right? If you really look at data, right? Data is really the truth that gets generated at the time of the action performed, right? And that is really very valuable if you can capture it in the rawest form and then process it to the interpretations that you want it to go through, right? So, and hence, because of the processing capabilities and everything that we are all aware about, this really makes for a very powerful combination, which will serve most of the stakeholders that we attend to as being part of this important ecosystem in India, right? So the first one, of course, is your end customer, right? And as we earlier heard from Raman sir and Sinha sir, right, that microfinance is more about the customer really, right? It's more a social setting than a capitalist setting, right? But at the same time, the business is the stakeholder as well, right? So bringing customized and empathetic solutions to the customers at the right cost requires technology to really come into the picture, right? And that is where all these four things that you mentioned, right? And I'll just go one by one and not take too long. So AI ML is probably very common to understand right now, as in as we spoke about chat GPT being the latest, etc., right? I just want to spend a little bit of time on IoT specifically, because that's very interesting. And I have been speaking to a couple of companies who are into IoT and how it will really help us underwrite better and service the loans better, right? So let's take an example of, let's say, MSME, right? A small factory or something, right? Until now, there is only representation of the fact, which is basically the information that you gather, which is second-hand in nature, probably, right? With IoT, what happens is, again, that truth is captured in the rawest of forms, right? And that allows you to create your models with the very raw information that you can get. Now, this helps, first of all, in underwriting, which is most important, right? And there were two things which were discussed in keynote as well. One was the intent and the capacity, right, to repay the loans. Now, intent is something that we evaluate from the social settings and prior history and all that stuff. But the capacity really can be measured much more accurately if you can tap into the operations of an entity, right? So for MSME or small shopkeepers or for those, it could be IoT to underwrite loans, right? For insurance, which could be a cross-sell product, these could be more IoTs, which basically track human body and human health and all those kinds of things, right? So this is the area which is going to probably come to prominence as much as AI and ML have been in last 4 or 5 years, really, right? So that's the first point where you really define your risk. The second point is, as you track these operations, right now we are again looking at second-hand interpretation of information, which gives us comfort whether we are going to get repayments or not, or we try to create nudges and all. But this will really give us important information which can be used to service the role. So the quality of loan servicing improves, the quality of underwriting improves, and then the interventions become much easier. So I think IoT, in my view, is something which will really take off in next few years, and that's may not be something that NBFCs or financial institutions are driving, but there are other product companies who are doing it for some other reason, but will come to the benefit of this whole thing. So as the ecosystem builds up, these multiple things will come together and really improve us as a whole ecosystem.
Thank you, sir. I hope it starts from data and converting into an information. It is very the essence of every business. So here, what he already mentioned, no, it's actually the IoT things and the underwriting or all these areas will be get improved, and we will be getting a fantastic way ahead on this by using these technologies. Thank you, sir. And here, ma'am, how the RPA will be robotic process automation, how it will be help us on, and how it can be implemented on an NBFC, and what all areas we can improve, and what are the, it's like a repetitive jobs can be minimized, and everybody is talking about RPA now. Can you please give some insights on it?
So I think, from a pure RPA standpoint, it can have a significant benefit to NBFCs, because if you were to look at some of the operational workflows that are there while doing customer onboarding or any other additional services, there are quite a few tasks which are really repetitive and actually don't really value add for a human to be involved in it, right? And such tasks are the ones which are primary takeaways for RPAs. I know right now many people are using it for chatbots and things like that, but the real benefits could come out when, if you see, one of the things that we normally do is look at these documents, extract information out of it to really assess the credit worthiness of the customer, right? That's one area where it's possible for to deploy RPA to extract information automatically and do that checking. And what can be done is, see, this need not really take away the jobs. What can be done is for the humans to be deployed in much higher end jobs, and that's how this will transform. That's how at least I see this as transforming as we move ahead. Okay, I think this is one, but RPA integrated with AI and ML can actually benefit significantly, because you can make these decisions automatic. Instant decisions can be given, and that can again improve your overall turnaround time, and the customer delight can be there as part of this as well. So I think these are typical areas that I see RPA being used.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope it's actually through RPA we can achieve many things. The automation can be done for most of the repetitive jobs. And here now one question I have asked to one of the vendor here. It's actually how we can. It's actually everybody is looking for a bank reconciliation statement automation, and there one point is there. It's actually there is a captcha. We need to how we can overcome that. So likewise, a lot of limitations are also there to automate everywhere. So here the next question, sir, Vijaykumar Ramakrishnan. So how we can say it's actually all these IoT and the latest technology can be implemented with all these security, with security measures, and how the data will be more secure, and what the ethical way to do. Can you please explain about
The information security, I think our CISOs and CTOs have become more important, because one of the NBFCs had a huge ransomware attack. So I think we have the security should be inbuilt from day one. So it should not happen that the product is ready, now come and do VAPT or now do security testing. So from the day one, when we implement IoT, Internet of Things, or AI and ML, what we do is that we involve our CISO and InfoSec team to do the reviews from the start, from the beginning. We start doing them, getting them involved in the development stage, where the testers and developers and the InfoSec specialists are getting involved. So we get into agile mode that whatever the corrections required needs to be done from an InfoSec perspective, we do it from day one. So what I think the NBFCs are also stepping up the game. Like what I saw, I came from MNC Bank to Indian Bank to the NBFC converted bank to NBFC, the downward journey. So I've seen that now NBFCs also are stepping up their game, investing and ensuring that information security is key part of the game to survive. So information security is not after the development is done, just come and simply put a stamp by doing VAPT and we will do a RA, risk acceptance, and we'll go live. That's not the case after, because a lot of CEOs, CFOs are realizing that information security is the most critical factor to ensure that before go live, that like I said, that the most important, the ground level basis, run the business or run the bank. Second most important is secure the business or secure the bank. But now with this one or two big incidents happening, run the business and secure the business are number one priority, that keeping the lights on and ensuring the lights continue to be on, secured. Then comes your change the business, grow the business, and new to business. So security is getting most important priority to from the scratch, involve the information security team and ensure the security is inbuilt as part of the product development, not after the product is developed. So that's making a change in information security importance. After this 2 or 3 big incidents, people are realizing the importance and relevant budget and the importance. CISO is getting a seat on the table now. So that's more important, that how information security is gaining the importance. Many of the NBFCs didn't had information CISO. The mid-level or low-level NBFCs, they had information security manager or IT manager was asked to do that role, but that's not the case anymore, because I'm meeting a lot of NBFC guys in terms of interview or summits, they are going for CISO. So that's the important factor, because if you see the analysis that India is the third most country that we focus 4.3% overall. The highest security is done by the guys like Russia and US, but we in India also, the NBFCs and the financial industries recognizing the importance of information security and putting the right investment, right resources to ensure the information security is built from the scratch. Thank you, sir. Thanks. Back to you.
Good. So security is an inevitable part of whatever banking or financial segment, whatever data is available, whatever process is there. That is what he summarized here. And here one question I am having here to Mehrotra ji. So here, what is happening now? It's actually wherever we all people are facing a lot of regulatory mandates. Likewise, recently also a new thing came up for outsourcing activities. And so, what all regulatories may come regarding all these new technologies? What will be the latest steps they may take? Can you please give some?
Sure. That's a great question, actually. And we at Northern Arc think a lot about regulations that might come, right? And regulations generally, if we look at the core of it, right, it tries to protect or facilitate a few things. One is really the customer interest, and second is the ecosystem safety or robustness, right? And both are for the good of the whole ecosystem as it plays out in the long run, right? But what happens is, right now, what happens is with technology, the innovation is happening fast and regulation is catching up for most part, right? And that's where you have some mishaps happening, and then it feels like regulators are behind or whatever. But so at Northern Arc, how we think is we are mostly thinking about these two things and try to build that into whatever transactions we are trying to create upfront. So what it does is it basically saves us, let's say, if something comes up, right? Because we are being more conservative in our approach with related to data security, as was mentioned, etc., right? So from a regulator standpoint, now, if you look at two stakeholders, right? One is the customer and the ecosystem. I guess more and more as we generate more data, we spoke about IoT and RPA doing stuff. So there are two things happening. More data is getting generated, which basically leads to more accurate profiling and identification, right? And which is important from a privacy standpoint. So there are going to be stricter rules and audits around privacy. That's for sure going to happen. The second bit is, how do you process that data? Now with the AI models and everything where you have self-learning models and all, right? There is probably going to be more scrutiny about how these models really generate the outcomes that they generate. Now, this has a lot of repercussions, actually, which is increased cost of doing business for NBFCs, and even a lot of resourcing on the regulator side, the audit community that we have, etc. So upskilling and those kinds of things, right? So it plays on both the sides, but eventually it's good for the whole ecosystem, really, right? And people who are being more thoughtful about these high-level goals probably will be able to cope up much better, and others might fall through as these tighten up as we move along. So.
Thank you. It's upskilling is one of the major challenge for everybody. It's by implementing all this latest technology, madam, how we can approach on a what about no? It's actually already we need to achieve anyway. The employees need to be trained. How the training and the other part, the education related to the latest technology, how it can be? Can you please explain?
I think, see, one of the key things that I see as, emergence of technology also gives the responsibility that people who use the technology are using it in the right way, right? So I think in Dvara KGFS, what we're doing for this is we actually have a complete training team and a completely online availability of training material for people to get trained on this, okay? And all the new changes that come on the products, on the systems, etc., are all modules are created and distributed for people to get trained. Training is done. And this is a very, very important key aspect if we need to really convert. Another thing we heard about information security, etc. The real point is people are the weak link in all this scenarios, right? Both data privacy, information security, and all of this as well. And so awareness becomes very important. And that training also becomes key for us so that, all the employees and including, in fact, the customers have awareness of this, and hence they are able to take care of what they need to do. So from a pure a perspective, I think training becomes a mandate if these technologies will have to reach the last mile. Typically, we keep developing, we sit at the room, keep developing different technologies, but unless it gets adopted, it really gets used till the last person, it really does not make a difference at all. So I think very, very important, like you said, skilling, training the people and ensuring that it is available online is also important. I think COVID has kind of made this big difference. People are now ready to not really look at only classroom trainings. People are ready to take trainings both in mobile and in web, anywhere from any place. So that should also help in terms of, how we can reach out and do the training.
Thank you. Now, the training and skill, it's developed. That's actually the people are almost aware about. And Vijay, how it's automatically the devices are now enabled with a lot of things like IoT. It's almost all devices are enabled on activities. It's on representation there in the digital space. We can say like that. Say how it will be helping us on NBFC business on this.
Let me pick up in NBFC space. I think the investment in technology has to improve. Means the people have to start investing a lot on technology, because I've seen small size and mid-size NBFCs don't invest much in technology. Am I right? Like starting from like microfinance or that thing. So we have to start investing more on technology on the IoT side of it and digital side of it. So we have to build a business case. We should not leave it to the management. We have to build a business case that why we have to come up with a strategy. For example, we came up with a strategy of CAT-TAG, customer first, having the journeys digitized, having the API integration, then automation first, getting all the processes automated. That is very important. Then D CAT-TAG, D stands for digital first. All the API integrations with account aggregators, with Perfios, with all the NPCI integrations, and all those integrations has to be there so that we don't have any manual things over there. Then T stands for technology refresh, where I've seen that many of the NBFCs don't believe in technology refresh and the information security incidents happen. So that we should involve in that strategy. That CAD, T stands for technology refresh. A again stands for analytics. Analytics is extremely important for having the MIS automation, BI automation, where we have saved last year 15 to 20 odd resources, manual saves automation. And those resources were moved from manual mundane job of reporting, preparing reports and all these things to get into a sales side of it or credit side of it by doing the automation. Then the last C stands for cloud and cybersecurity first. Cloud has become a little old because many of the players have moved on to cloud because of the cost reasons. And now I've read that the journey is restarting to come out of the cloud to in premises, but that decision I leave it up to the CTOs and CIOs. But the most important comes is the cybersecurity. What is our antivirus? What is our anti-malware? What is our anti-ransomware, anti-phishing? That is extremely important. Otherwise, we get locked like one NBFC and we ask 25, 30 crores. That many NBFCs cannot afford with our PATS levels low around 100 CR and all. So the cybersecurity becomes very important. So this has to be part of our core strategy, KADAK, like customer first, digital journeys, A, analytics first, D, digital first, T, technology refresh, A, automation first, and C, cybersecurity and cloud first. So this 6, 7 pieces, if we make it as a part of a strategy, we can go and convince. It is not that you go and once and your CEO and CFO will open up the pockets or the board will open up the pocket. You have to keep them convincing, use your social media and keep convincing that why there's an importance to invest in technology. Am I right? Like rightly the HDFC founders said, bank is nothing or NBFC is nothing but the computer at the back and the salesman at the front. Am I right? So IT, information technology is the heart, soul, and the backbone of the company. Am I right? So rest all are the middle office. Am I right? The sales guy and the IT. These are the two key execution functions which can take NBFC to the next level. So that's how we have to do a 360-degree view to ensure that IoT, information security, everything is taken place by imbibing it into the strategy and repeating the strategy year after year. Okay. Thanks.
Thank
Back
you,
to you,
Vijay.
Linson.
Yeah. Good. It's investment decisions are very much important here because no, it's actually the technology is very important point or the aspects for our future growth. NBFC, especially NBFC, it's all regulated NBFCs. We need to abide by the government norms and conditions, and so automatically the security is very much important. And automation of the process that will help us to go ahead with capturing new markets. And thank you very much for your valuable inputs. Thank you, Gaurav Mehrotra. Thank you, Vidya Sambasivam, and very much thankful to Vijaykumar Ramakrishna.